Many people think that poker is a game in which you must look into your opponent's eyes and somehow know exactly what cards he has, and then be able to make the perfect decision based on those cards. That's not how it works at all. In reality, you try to narrow your opponent's cards down to a range of possible cards, and then based on math and game theory, make the best possible decision. This program allows for you to do just that, make the right decision. To be able to do that, you have to be able to input any different scenario that can happen at a poker table. This program allows you to do that. You can customize the number of players to any number from 1 through 9. You can change the amount of chips that are in the middle to start. So for example, if we were playing 100, 200, then it would look like this. And then most importantly, you can customize the actions, ranges, and amount of chips of all the opponents and yourself. In order to change the villain's information, you simply have to click on their information box. Once you're there, you can start to input his range. Currently, the villain has no hands in his range. However, by clicking, I can add hands. So for example, I can add pocket aces, pocket kings, pocket queens, and let's just add ace king suited. However, it's pretty slow to put in every hand manually, so I also have an automatic range generator in which you can put in a number and then they will use the top percentage of hands of that number. So for example, I type in 25% and then engage, and now the top 25% of hands are in the opponent's range. I can also do things like change the amount of chips the opponent has, change his action, and change his position. Now if you go back to the table, you'll see his information is totally different. Now that I've customized everything I want to customize, it's time for this program's core function. It takes into account everything from the number of players, to the size of the blinds, to the chips in the pot, and most importantly, my opponent's range, and then it decides which hands of all 169 types of hands I should call. While it would be nice to use every single possible different set of 5 cards that can happen in a hold'em hand, that simply isn't possible. It would take too much time. Instead, what this program does is run Monte Carlo simulations in which my hand and his hand are run against thousands of different boards, and then a probability is estimated. This allows for the program to calculate the hands in reasonable amount of speed. So let's calculate and see what happens. I'm not going to cut to the end of the calculation because I think one of the upsides of this program is the speed in which it's able to calculate. In order to do this, it also involves using bisection methods of all my hands and a ranking. And now, as you can see, we've produced a set of hands that I should call in this exact situation. This program's other core function is to take this concept of range calculation and turn it into a game that's both kind of fun and teaches you a lot about poker. So let's see what you do. You're given a lot of information. You're given all of your opponent's cards, your cards, and this is important, the size of the blinds and the size of yours and the villain stacks. So in this case, I take into account all his information. I have king jack, offsuit, and I think, should I call? In this case, I'm going to go with a fold. Let's see if I'm right. It does take a few seconds to calculate, but that adds to the suspense in my opinion. I was right. So it turns out I needed 43% equity to call, but I only had 37%. So it would be a bad decision to call here. Let's see another hand. In this case, I have pocket 9. It's a pretty good hand, but my opponent has a very wide range, consisting of probably almost half of the possible hands. So in this case, I'm going to call. Let's see what happens. And look, I was right again. I had 63% equity, and I only needed 45, so it was a good decision. And that is my poker engine. Thanks for watching.